If you've been subbed to this channel for a while, you know that there is a list of publications and outlets that are so biased in their reporting and their covering of issues and topics that I take them with a half of a grain of salt. And the New York Times is at the tippity top of that list, right next to Time magazine. So we have this article coming to us from the Daily Caller. Intellectual curiosity is now a liability, Bari Weiss writes. Scathing resignation letter from the New York Times amid its woke civil war. We got Bari Weiss right here. About 15, 20 years ago, she was bad. The Wall is an amazing thing, because now she just looks like anybody's soccer mom. But, she was probably bad back in her day. This is written by Shelby Talcott. The New York Times' Bari Weiss is leaving the newspaper amid an ongoing war between employees, writing a scathing resignation letter in the process. Weiss, a former writer and editor for the New York Times opinion section, I really need for you guys to keep that in mind, confirmed her departure to Vice Tuesday, but would not comment further, the publication wrote. Weiss posted her resignation letter, which criticizes the New York Times over unlawful discrimination, hostile work environment, and constructive discharge on her website. So, my own forays into wrongthink have made me the subject of constant bullying by colleagues who disagree with my views, Weiss wrote in the letter. They have called me a Nazi, a racist, and I have learned to brush off comments about how I'm writing about the Jews again. Several colleagues perceived to be friendly with me were badgered by coworkers. So apparently, isn't that the really interesting part is that she's the opinion editor, yet for some strange reason, her opinions aren't particularly appreciated. My work and my character are openly demeaned on company-wide Slack channels where masthead editors regularly weigh in. There, some coworkers insist I need to be rooted out of this company is to be a truly inclusive one, while others post axe emojis next to my name. Ooh, that was terrifying. My goodness. I'm sorry. I probably didn't say that with enough, fear. While others post axe emojis next to my name. Okay, I'm sorry, but come on, yeah. This is kind of the results, because isn't that very Mean Girl-esque? Isn't that very feminine? Isn't that very that unwillingness to consider others' opinions and and being so emotional and being so butthurt about another person's opinion that you're gonna put axe emojis next to her name in the most threatening of ways? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Still, other New York Times employees publicly smear me as a liar and a bigot on Twitter with no fear that harassing me will be met with appropriate action. They never are. And you can, it's the internet. You can just, turn it off. You can always put people on mute. There's fail-safes in here for you not to be harassed. I'm just saying, Miss Weiss, but let's continue. Weiss's letter, written to New York Times publisher A.G. Sulzberger, noted that she does not understand how you have allowed this type of behavior to go on inside your company in full view of the paper's entire staff and the public. Well, that's because it seems like more of the staff is on their side. There is so much butthurt, particularly since Trump's election, and the New York Times has been at the forefront of driving that lunacy. Oh my goodness, it's just the worst thing ever. And I'm telling you guys, they have gone out of their way to really highlight and exacerbate the Trump derangement syndrome in this nation. Trust me, and particularly amongst the Jewish community. And I know that because I've been to synagogues where the New York Times have been presenting, and it's whoa. Okay, cool. But the truth is that intellectual curiosity, let alone risk-taking, is now a liability at the Times, Weiss wrote. Why edit something challenging to our readers or write something bold only to go through the numbing process of making it ideologically kosher when we can assure ourselves of job security and clicks by publishing our 4,000th op-ed arguing that Donald Trump is a unique danger to the country and the world. And so self-censorship has become the norms, and you're not getting what people actually feel. That's why everything is fake. That's why there's so little authenticity, because people are playing it safe as opposed to, be like having any type of real thoughts and ideas of their own. And this has been, slowly manifesting itself for, way before, Trump even got into office. The lack of creativity and the dumbing down of the American populace to only take, the spoonful of sugar instead of, the real bitter medicine has been like, we keep sweetening up the Flintstone vitamins, right? Like we keep making it all nice and sweet, and oh my goodness, you got to worry about people's feelings. But at the same time, there is a level of neglect that comes through, being genuine and being very honest with people. Because ultimately, all that sugar does is just, get you fat. It doesn't and tricks your mind into thinking that you're getting the nutrients that it wants and needs. But in reality, no. Sometimes you just gotta eat that. You gotta eat it raw. Weiss recently described a war inside the Gray Lady between mostly young wokes and mostly 40-plus liberals. Her description of this inside civil war came as public clashes over an op-ed by Republican Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton came to a head. Cotton's op-ed called for the U.S. military to be potentially deployed in an effort to restore order amid nationwide protests over the death of George Floyd, which the president didn't listen to. He didn't say, no, he's like, no, let it burn. He was Usher, We're gonna let it burn. Okay, so this is her tweet. The old guard lives by a set of principles we can broadly call civil libertarianism. They assume they shared that worldview with the young people who they hired, who called themselves liberals and progressives, but it was an incorrect assumption. And you know why? It's because they're coming out of these indoctrination camps called colleges, where there's a lot of communism, a lot of Marxism, and a lot of that, and a lot of grievance studies going on. So, this is the country reaping what it sows by allowing this nonsense to really take hold in our educational system. The new guard has a different worldview, one articulated best by John Haidt and some other chick, I guess, or dude, I don't know. They call it safetyism, in which the right of people to feel emotionally and psychologically safe trumps what were previously considered core liberal values like free speech. Safetyism, that's a thing? Oh, okay. You guys keep coming up on, it's like impossible to keep up with these folks' terms, man, seriously. But if that's what they want to call it, sure. The former New York Times writer brought up Cotton's op-ed in her resignation letter, pointing out that the op-eds that would have easily been published just 2 years ago would now get an editor or a writer in serious trouble, if not fired. And the deal is that 2 years ago, Miss Weiss, you were all on the same page. Now, like the acceleration of the left to that communism, Marxism type place has, since Trump's election, has been just pedal to the metal. Seriously. She also noted that Twitter is not on the masthead of the New York Times, but says she feels it has become its ultimate editor. Because the Twitterati. So let's get to the last few comments. The paper of record is more and more the record of those living in a distant galaxy, one whose concerns are profoundly removed from the lives of most people, according to Weiss. This is a galaxy in which, to choose just a few recent examples, the Soviet space program is lauded for its diversity, the doxing of teenagers in the name of justice is condoned, and the worst caste systems in human history includes the United States alongside Nazi. It's like, come on, lady, seriously, just cut it out. America is a great country that deserves a great newspaper. The New York Times did not immediately respond to a request for comment from the Daily Caller. Of course not. So deal is that it came back and bit you in the ass. I'm sorry, Bari Weiss, but you were the opinion editor. So thusly, a lot of the way that the ideological manipulation, the ideological animosity, I gotta say, you've had some hand in it. Without a single doubt, you've had some hand in the ideological animosity that you eventually, got bit by. This is the cancel culture is a part. This is a part of the cancel culture that you and your publication have contributed to. So, shoot, the hand that feeds, right? But guys, with that being said, we're going to bring this one to an end. All the internet stuff. If you liked it, toss it a like. Dislike, go ahead, do that too. Nobody's scared of you. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice and you want to give videos like this every single day. Share because sharing is caring. And YouTube and Bitchute and like aren't the biggest fans of your boy over here for very obvious reasons. Bang the bell for notifications and speak. Let me know. What do you guys think in the comments? As far as I'm concerned, Ms. Weiss, you've done this to yourself. You've just been outflanked. Like your left got outflanked. I have absolutely no doubt that, while during the 2016 election and, ever since, you were all gung-ho until it turned on you. And so that's kind of delicious as far as I'm concerned. But you may feel differently. That's what I have a comment section for. Until the next one.